My word for this year has been harmony, and how serendipitous that Equilibria, a woman-owned wellness brand, focuses on bringing your mind and body back into harmony. Equilibria offers science-backed products that have helped over 200,000 women feel better. My go-to product is a daily Nutri-Greens, which contains an immune antioxidant and detox blend, along with prebiotics, probiotics, and over 35 fruits and veggies. They support digestion, boost the immune system, boost mood and energy levels, and helps detoxify the body. Admittedly, I'm not the best at reaching my recommended quota of veggies every day, but the daily Nutri-Greens makes it so much easier to reach that goal. Plus, it tastes great, and I feel an immediate energy boost after. This is my travel hack of the year, which is taking daily Nutri-Greens on the road with me so I can get my daily dose of greens even if I'm not home. Now, for our Dateable listeners only, head to myeq.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off Equilibria's daily Nutri-Greens and much more. That's myeq.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout for 15% off site-wide today.
Hello, Dateables. Welcome to a Quickie with Julie. I was thinking about our Truth About Relationships episode UA and I did a few weeks ago, and there was one part of it I really wanted to double down a bit more on. We often think that the number one skill in a relationship is communication, and it certainly is important. I'm not debating this, but I actually think there is a more under-discussed skill that I didn't personally pay attention to until I was in couples therapy with my partner last year. And this is repair. Because it doesn't matter if you're communicating well, if the conflicts are never getting resolved and the emotional wounds are staying open. And it goes hand in hand with communications. I don't think it's like so far off, but it's almost like communication is the first step. And the second part is the repair that also needs to be taken. Repair is a funny word because like you think about like your car needing to get repaired or your appliance in your home. And it makes sense though. Like I think at first it was hard for me to like connect this to relationships, but you are trying to fix something that's broken because whatever argument or the misunderstanding or whatever happened, like there needs to be a fixing. So you restore that trust and emotional intimacy after the disruption. So, of course, the Gottmans, who are kind of like the mother and father of relationships, they talk at length about repair. And I liked the definition that John Gottman used. I think it was helpful to understand a little more. But he says it's any statement or action, silly or otherwise, that prevents negativity from escalating out of control. And I think it's funny that he says silly and also just any, because you as a couple need to figure out what works for you. Like it can be anything from like infusing humor after a fight. Of course, it can't be like making fun of the partner, but I think you know that. Or, apologizing with sincerity, validating your partner's feelings, taking responsibility for your part, or even just telling your partner you love them and you didn't mean to hurt them. And I've certainly had conflict with my partner. And one of the things I appreciate the most about our relationship is how we've been able to repair. And we end up feeling closer than before the conflict. And that's something that was new for me in this relationship. And I remember there was like one time in couples therapy that we got pretty heated. And I remember it was on a Friday. We had plans to go to see the life-size gingerbread house at the Fairmont in San Francisco. It was over the holidays. And I really thought like, there's no way we're going to go out and see this now. Like we are both heated. I'm feeling terrible. Like there's no way that I'm just going to be able to like go and enjoy the gingerbread house and Christmas decorations. But we actually were able to repair. We were able to work through it for like another hour post couples counseling. We ended up getting a later start than we anticipated, but we actually got to such a good place after the repair that we were able to do our plans and go out, and we had a freaking amazing night. It was so much fun. We went to the gingerbread house and we actually went to the Tonga Room, this like insane tiki bar in San Francisco where there's like a band floating in a boat. Anyways, if you know, you know. What I'm trying to say here is that we didn't sweep it under the rug and just went out and partied and had a good time. Like we did actually do the acknowledgement, the apologies, the further communication, the forgiveness, like everything that is essential to move forward. And what I love though is like that we could get there because one, it didn't leave things on a bad note. And we also could have the fun side of a relationship, like the stuff that we wanted to do just as activities and, not only just be in the state of conflict. I was thinking about it too. And I think like repair is often a missing element in our other relationships, like at work or with friends and while dating. And in a way, it's like even easier to sweep things under the rug because I don't know, you're just not going to have like the lengthy and vulnerable convos. Like it's not as normalized as even in a relationship where it's also hard to do. But it feels like in these situations, like you're not at couples therapy with your friends. And it just like feels easier to move forward after a conflict, like without really talking about it. But I think that's like where resentment builds. And I actually like had this epiphany at my last job. And there was like this feeling that people just like lingered with some of their past issues, like, and just caused a lot of like resentment and challenges in the culture. And I realized it's because nothing ever got repaired. And I was thinking about like one situation I had where I had this coworker who was just brutal to me, to be honest, on this one project and just like put my work down and was just terrible. And I would just like have crazy anxiety and I would dread going to work. And so much like I did not want to show this project to like the whole company, but kind of was forced to. So I did it anyways, but he had just like critiqued it so much that I was dreading this. But when I actually did show it to the company, like they all loved it. And I was just like, what? Wait, what? I was blown away. But like people were super excited about this project and just like rave reviews. And it was such a different experience than what I had with this coworker. And like by then we'd gotten to like a better place. So he was like congratulating me and saying like, good job. And it was nice. Like, I don't want to say it wasn't nice. Like it did go a long way. But I think what was missing that could have made our relationship like actually strong and get back to a better place, not just, an okay place, is that if he had kind of acknowledged what had happened a bit more, like acknowledged that he was hard on me and like apologize and, even show some humility that like he actually didn't know all and like his opinion might have not been the same as the rest of the company and say that he could trust me more in the future. And I just never got that from him. So like the excitement he had felt like insincere a bit. And I think it's just like our relationship would have been a lot better had that repair happened. So I really think that repair can play into all of our relationships, like romantic or not, and at any stage, even in early dating. And it can be the words, the verbal, the apologies, acknowledgement, forgiveness, but it also can be the nonverbal, which can be physical touch, acts of services. Like I even found when my partner and I had conflict, just hugging each other went a long way to feel better. And remember that like not all arguments are going to be wrapped up in an hour. Like that was great that was able to happen in the example I used about going to the gingerbread house, but other ones like have taken a while. Like it's taken patience and time. And eventually like we both had to come around and recognize like we are on the same team and like the best path forward is forgiveness. And there were times like I had to just be like, I'm going to let this go and forgive and like understand where the intention came from. And it's providing that emotional support and reassurance to each other. And at the end of the day, repair is about rebuilding. It's fixing, it's regaining that sense of security and connection. So I leave this to one, bring understanding to repair, to let people think about it more, whether you're in a long-term relationship or even if you're not. Like I mentioned, there's so many opportunities in all of our relationships where repair can happen. And how do you repair early and often? As soon as something comes up, like what is a step you can take, whether it's calling a friend, acknowledging, apologizing, whatever it is. And it's really not about who is right and wrong. Like I think that's what gets in so many of our ways, like the ego side. It's ultimately about building a relationship. And as we've said, in all relationships, conflict is inevitable and it just comes down to how you repair from it. So hope you enjoyed this and it was helpful. You'll start to repair early and often. And also make sure to subscribe to all of our episodes because we have full-length interviews, our brunch talks where we answer your dating questions, and then UA and I will both drop quickies from time to time. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. Before you leave this episode, just a reminder to head over to dateablepodcast.com/programs if you want to get in on our Meeting People IRL Masterclass and see what else we have in store.